Hello, and welcome to the Lucy Liu Show, the fueling station for your mind, business, and life. And now, here's your host, Lucy Liu.
Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome back to another episode on the Lucy Liu Show. And this is, of course, your host, Lucy Liu. What if every single day you went out into the world knowing that your clothing perfectly complements your goals, lifestyle, personality, and body? That your appearance positively supports who you are and how you live? Chances are you'd feel pretty good about that, right? And your life would change on many levels. But let's face it. Most people aren't projecting that kind of consistent visual statement. And that is why I have my special guest today, Patty Buccellato, who is a certified image coach that makes it her mission to bring clients to just that place. She guides high visibility women think Zoom meetings. She brings the best out of you so that you can unleash your natural magnetism. So in this episode, we're going to learn why not every great outfit makes a great Zoom choice, things that you should never wear in front of the camera, and other hacks to help you stand out in today's virtual world. Enjoy our conversation. And if you need to double your confidence in 30 seconds, remember to head over to www.confidentandepic.com. Welcome to the show, Patty.
Thank you, Lucy. I am thrilled to be here.
I love Zoom. Sometimes people get Zoom fatigue, but Zoom has been a game changer. We're able to stay connected over Zoom, but not every great outfit makes a great choice for Zoom. Would you agree?
That is absolutely true. Absolutely true. We're used to going to our closet and getting dressed and putting on an outfit, and we look in the mirror and say, okay, yeah, I got that. And then we sit down in front of a webcam and forget that 70% of it isn't showing. So we don't see how well you've coordinated all of that stuff below the camera window.
So what is one thing never to wear in front of the camera?
So there are some we'll say out of zone colors. And one of them people tend to lean to a lot. And it is a bright, cool white companion with a bright, intense red. And either one of these are going to flood the camera and distract your listener, your meeting partner from the message that you have to deliver, because suddenly their eye is bombarded by, well, they're not even sure what, but it takes them away even for just a flash second from what you're saying and the message that you intend to deliver.
Yes. And we want to be able to show up and look like we're confident, relevant, we're in ease, and we are the authority figure. So in order to change the game and look good on Zoom, what are your best hacks to style yourself for those virtual meetings?
I love that you asked that. So one of them I just actually hinted to in terms of looking at a whole outfit rather than the frame that we actually have when we're in the webcam. Because I might get dressed and I have this lovely necklace or scarf that's coordinated with my outfit, and I look in my full length mirror and everything's going on and I'm hitting on all points and it's just lovely. And then I sit down in front of the camera here and half of my necklace is gone, out of sight, because it looked fabulous with my outfit, but it wasn't gauged to this much smaller frame that we are seen with when we're on a web call. And it can make a huge difference when we look at the proportions of what we're wearing in the upper body so that we're not having pieces that are actually cut off and gone from the scene entirely. Because so many elements that we wear do a fabulous job of framing our face when there's symmetry and balance.
That is so true. I have some jewels on my shirt right now that you can absolutely not see them because my mic is covering them.
I saw you kind of looking down there. So it's yeah.
I'm like, okay, she's talking about me right now.
In this moment, that may be true. So what I often recommend for people to do is, before they get on a call, do a staging of the call. We think so much about the background and we strategize what's happening there, whether we put a Zoom background or our own natural or a blur or whatever, but sit down in front of the webcam before you jump, especially an important call, whether it's a client or, something, not someone that you're, on a regular conversation with every day, but this is a meaningful meeting, and sit in front of the camera, whether I'm on a Mac, so I'll tune into QuickTime and just take a quick view of, okay, what does it look like within this smaller frame? But that's easy to do also just within Zoom, to do a fake call with yourself and see what you look like before getting on the meeting.
I've seen people with like cat looking eye type of glasses or specialty scarves that just gives them that personal flair that really stand out and makes me remember them forever, right? So would you say there are some uncommon ways to look great and stand out on camera?
There really are. And, sometimes it's a matter of just really, really thinking about what is your own brand and how do you want to project that visually? Because when we can reinforce what we stand for on every level, including that visual, there's a continuity and an additional level of believability and credibility. So I love your example of, maybe a real fashion forward, trendy eyeglass is spot on for someone who's in a creative field. And it really reinforces, the way that they think, that it's more cutting edge and they're more forward minded. And we can express those kinds of things really well with the details that we show up with. And it's also at the same time, someone who's on the flip side of that continuum. Maybe they're in finance or law, and that overtly trendy look would maybe cause pause in the minds of a client. In that case, I urge my clients to really consider what we like to call silent dressing, so that when they show up in front of the camera, what they're wearing takes a back seat. And so what comes forward is their verbal message and their competencies and the demonstration of skill. And the visual pieces just take a quiet supporting role in that field of work, because we have a lot of perceptions about what this role looks like and what someone who does this particular job, how they show up. And it has a bearing on how we believe in their ability to deliver their work product in each of those scenarios.
Yeah, I like how you talk about silent dressing. I know you said it's an effective delivery method for an influential professional women to project their on brand message, right?
Yes.
But also, I think as women, number one, we all want to look young, right? We want to visually erase years off of our apparent age. And I would say all my guests have done wonderful jobs with that, because I cannot tell. But what is your take on that? What is your tool to visually erase those years off without needing to go under the knife or laser or anything?
Yes. It is so simple when you know what to do. And it ties in to knowing one's own best color palette. There is no more powerful in my toolkit, a powerful tool, and also what is essentially a 100% zero cost facelift, is when we're surrounded in the colors that harmonize with our own undertones of skin, hair, eyes. It has the ability it's got literally a lifting effect. And our eyes are more vibrant and they'll pop, and the skin takes on a glow. And it can be really, really surprising sometimes. The effect can be stunning when we see the difference of being surrounded in the colors that are in harmony with who we are naturally when we look at our natural, innate personal architecture, color being one piece of that.
Mm-hmm. What if for someone who's not sure what their palettes are, what would you recommend?
Yeah, well, of course, doing what I do, my first recommendation is to say, consult with a professional image coach or stylist who is trained in color theory and can really show you not just black versus brown or white versus cream, but a full, rich palette that I will sometimes call it, one's personal rainbow. But short of that, there are some simple tests that we can do. And I think, again, it's something that can work really well on camera, because whether we're taking a photo of an outfit that we've tried on or looking at color, it's really easy when we're looking at a mirror and seeing our three-dimensional image. It's easy to be distracted by those little bits and pieces that we nitpick about, where if we take a photo, whether it's a still photo or in front of the webcam, we see things a little differently. And I think if a woman has maybe a cream blouse and a white blouse, and she wants to see the difference, to really hold one up and then the other around her face and really try to notice what changes in the personal softness of her skin or the vibrance of her eyes or the subtle cues and sometimes it's just a matter of looking at the face and seeing like, oh gosh, everything just looks more blended. That in itself can be a cue. Versus sometimes that what we might see a harshness when we're wearing colors that aren't necessarily our best friend, but it really can make a world of difference.
Yeah. And as women, many times we feel like there's nothing to wear in our closet, right? When does it make sense to return to closet ground zero and build a wardrobe from scratch?
Yeah. So, it's true that we do have a lot in those closets. And we find, again, studies showing that we wear like 20% of our clothing 80% of the time. So in any closet, there's a significant amount of waste and non-use of money well spent. But there are times, and one of those can be when we find that when we identify the colors that work beautifully for us and we walk to our closet, we open the closet door and find that there's nothing in it but black. And it leaves us no selections and no choices. And for that uplift look beyond color, another time for that is when, and I do think this is really powerful too for that influential businesswoman, whether she's a business owner or a corporate executive, there is a message that we want to send. And if we're intentional about our appearance, and we can be leaving a lot of money on the table if we don't pay attention to whether the wardrobe is supporting that intentional message. What do you want to look like when you meet with a client? What do you want them to know about you? And if you've been dressing simply by what a fashion magazine says is in style this season, or the retail clerk has suggested for you on your last shopping trip, it might not be spot on for that brand message. And it might not even be spot on for your body type and how you can show up in your best light and looking like the woman that is confident no matter where she is or what she's doing. Because I've worked with a lot of really talented professionals who are, just really feeling on their game when they're on the job. And they come out and they're at a loss of how to get dressed for the weekend when they're going out for a social occasion. And I hear from clients like that. And it's like, I feel frumpy when I go out. I feel totally in charge Monday through Friday. And then on the weekends, I don't know what to do. And it really comes down to knowing themselves. If we know ourselves both inside and out, really understand our personal architecture, we can dress for that. And if we find out that if we learn those things and we find out that nothing's in the closet to really support that, that's a really good time to say, you know what, it is worth doing a pivot in this case, in this space.
Yeah, beautifully said. I think confidence is the best thing we can ever wear. But how you dress, how it makes you feel, that's also going to contribute to how you show up with your confidence. So it's a two-way, freeway.
It absolutely is. It absolutely is. And I know you talk a lot about confidence in your work, Lucy, and it can be the deal breaker. And, we often look a lot as professionals, we look at mindset, we look at our personality type or our communication style, and our brand style is a really important piece of that puzzle, not only for what others see, but also how we feel both in confidence about showing up in an appropriate and powerful way, but also how we perform. There's a body of work called Enclothed Cognition that has shown where we literally perform differently based on our beliefs about what we have on our body. And it's something worth paying attention to.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for your expertise. Is there a favorite quote that you go by in life, Patty?
One that I really love it's by Anais Nin. We don't see things as they are. We see them as we are. And I think that it's true in so many ways. For instance, I might wake up in the morning and look outside and see that it's raining and feel like, oh, it's miserable out there. It's going to be an awful day. Or I might see it as a beautiful opportunity to clean out my spare room closet where all of the junk has been collecting. It is perception, and often that comes in terms of our own self-perception as well. So how are we seeing? How are we seeing what is around us and within us?
So much yes in that. Thank you. Where can we find you?
Oh, this is fun. I have a domain I'd love to share with your listeners because I've got a free gift. And it is a mini course of mine called Bust Your Style Rut. And it helps you, it is the fail-proof formula to help you dress your own body type. Speaking of that personal architecture that we talked about, and it can be found at bustyourstylerut.com. www.bustyourstylerut.com.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lucy.
To all the beautiful souls listening, thank you for joining me on this episode of The Lucy Liu Show. When I'm not podcasting, I am coaching high-achieving women in life transitions, getting unstuck, kissing overwhelm goodbye, and living a more joyful and fulfilled life through strategic goal setting and mindset transformation. It would mean the world to me if you subscribe, rate, or share this with a friend. And don't forget to join me for the next episode. Remember, there is always a way and more blessings are coming your way. For free resources and show notes, head over to lucyliucoaching.com.